No? Okay, here we go. I feel 10 years older after this last year. Anybody who's been in this job will tell you it's not an easy one. And the pay is terrible. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I believe we're on the air now. Here's the agenda. And here we are. So today, first I want to start by briefly going over the procedure for scheduling rooms. As some of you know, there was a change that was announced in September at the fireside chat and in a written document placed in your cubbies, but there's still some confusion on the part of people who to go to schedule rooms for committee meetings and events. So here it is. Risa Ransom, who is the Events and Programs Administrator, handles the bulk of the scheduling now. She does recurring meetings and events, large events in the Sky Lounge in Anderson Hall, and any presentations that require AV or live stream. She does memorials, and she does event replays on HHTV. So that's almost everything. Nick will schedule video camera recordings if you want those. And Jess will handle small one-time meetings, guest rooms, private dining room, and other concierge responsibilities, which include check cashing, postage, mailings, and all the other stuff that the concierge does. Okay, now the focus of my remarks today is the Monday market. Its reason for being, whoops, how did we get there? Okay, I did it. Okay, where are we? I want to go over the reason for the Monday market's existence and some etiquette and what we may do. This just wants to keep coming up. It's the next thing we're going to look at. What we should do to make the Monday market successful. I see many new faces around Horizon House, and I want to be sure they understand what the market's purpose is and how it ideally operates so we can be working together to keep it successful and maintain certain standards and protocols. Long-term residents know most of what I'm going to say, but those who moved here in the last couple of years may not. The Monday market is the foundation of everything residents do here. It started, as most of you know, by the early Horizon House residents as a flea market before there were activity directors to help people keep themselves occupied, and helped to establish our unique culture here whereby residents determine our programs and the council supports them financially. Included in the merchandise that the market sells are slightly used clothing, furniture, household goods, office supplies, jewelry, art, plus much, much more. This is to raise the money that is then used to provide the funds for the Residents' Council programs that bring you music, education, the library, floral displays, art. Think of what this place would be like without Monday market money, you know? It's amazing. And all of this is managed by resident volunteers. It also provides the residents and employees opportunities for some terrific bargains. The market volunteers must process all the donations they receive. That means checking for marketability, washing, ironing, and pricing before putting items on display. Those of you who work in the market or have worked in the market or even shop in the market have some idea of what effort it takes. It takes a lot. And it's run flawlessly. It really is. Let's appreciate what the volunteers do because it benefits all of us and we should do our part in the process. What I mean by that is the sole purpose of the market is to raise money to run programs. The market should not be used by residents to dispose of unusable, unsellable items. It's not fair to volunteers to have to sort through and dispose of residents' trash. That's not their job. So please don't donate unusable items such as broken appliances, chipped dishes, stained and ripped or moth-eaten clothing. Put unusable items in the trash. In addition, there are Goodwill bins on B3, and if you have filled, they're not picked up. I know that. Somebody's been on them. Jennifer said they've been picked up. And they're to be used by you for merchandise that's still usable but not good enough to be sold in the market. We rely on residents to make the determination of suitability and dispose of unsuitable items themselves rather than just drop them in the bins for the market volunteers to sort through. If you don't want it anymore because it's not up to your standards, it probably won't be up to the other residents' standards either. Also keep in mind that the market will be moving to a temporary location at some point and will probably be smaller in space than they have now. And they'll also lose their storage area, so they're going to have to be much more selective. If you have large items, such as furniture and lamps, the market is interested, but please do not leave them at the market door. Contact one of the directors and they'll come and determine suitability and arrange to pick it up if they want to sell it. If you need help disposing of large items, call Barbara Brown. She can help you with that. You may be charged, but you can get rid of it. If you talk to your family about the eventual disposal of your goods, you should instruct them to call the Monday market representatives to help them. They should not just fill shopping carts and leave them at the market door, and that has happened at times. Every year, the market closes for a few weeks over the holidays, and the bins are closed, and the donation area by the market entrance is also closed. The carts are removed, and a notice is posted on the wall and in the mail room about the closure. Normally, market volunteers pick up donations several times a week, and when the market is closed, they're not doing it, and the stuff just remains in the hallways. These are some photos of what you should not do. You can see here that the market was closed. There was a sign up on the wall. Somebody dumped all this stuff by the door and took the sign off the wall and put it on the microwave, almost in a mocking way. Don't do that, please. This was left in the North Tower, closed, and this was left in the mailroom, closed. This is unsightly, and the stuff that you leave there may never get to the market. You know, anybody can take it, can sit there for days. So thanks for being my captive audience for my rant. and I hope that all the new people understand now how the market needs to be run. Thank you. Next. Next is Erica. Oh, also, would the person, I have a list here on the podium of the person who comes after you, so all speakers, please introduce the next person on the list after you. Thank you. Thank you.
So wonderful to open our first Residents Council meeting of 2024 with a happy birthday from our president. What a wonderful way to begin the year. So I just want to do a bit of reflection before we move forward. What about those holidays? I know they seem like a long, long time ago, but oh, they were phenomenal. I hope that you all had a wonderful holiday season It was so beautifully decorated, thanks to all of you. And now we are in full swing of 2024. We had a great time. Our employees, we really wanted to make sure that we took some time out during the holiday to reflect on all of the things that had happened over the year. So we had a beautiful meal. Many of you walked in and saw that we had, linens and all kinds of things for all of our employees on every single shift to have a sit down meal. That was really important. It was a thank you for just all of the hard work over the past year. So then our year came in, and we have had, meaning both us, people from Michigan as well as our Washingtonians, we've had some good football this year. So it was wonderful. What was it? Last Monday? Yeah. We had the Washington, the Huskies against the Wolverines. And, while, the Huskies did not prevail, they sure put up a good fight. And it was wonderful to be here in Anderson Hall watching the game with many of you. We had both teams represented, both U of M, Go Blue, as well as the Huskies. I don't know if it's me leaving Michigan has just made our teams victorious, because the Lions, first time in, almost 30 years, over 30 years, they are in the playoffs, and there's like a shot at the Super Bowl. I never thought I'd be saying that. So maybe it was me. Maybe I was the bad luck, because about 3 years after I re-arrived back in Michigan after college, they just got progressively worse over the years. My dad would say, they're not a bad team. The game is just too long for them. So anyway, good football year. We're coming to a close. I wanted to give a bit of an update on the West Tower. So we are having a meeting tomorrow for all of our West Wing residents to discuss the options for moving to the West Tower. And after that meeting, if there's interest by any other Horizon House residents to move to the West Tower, we'll hold another meeting. So, we've got, enough details that now we can share and start to plan. We also have a bit of a delay. We are exploring some additional ways to meet the 2021 Seattle Energy Code requirements and the potential costs associated with it. And so this is going to delay our presentation to the board of the West Tower estimate. It's also going to delay our reservation deposits by about 1 month. We just want to make sure we're doing our due diligence and that we're looking at all of the things where we're balancing both comfort as well as making sure that we are responsible with sustainability, which is important to us. So again, we thought we were going to be starting the reservation deposits March 1st. It's going to be more like April 1st. So just wanted to make sure that you all knew first. And so lastly, I want to talk a little bit about feeling welcomed. So, I love that so many people at Horizon House they've either encouraged their family or friends to move here, which is awesome. So they have all these deep connections. And then there are people who've developed brand new networks since they moved here. And there are other people who've even found love at Horizon House. We have residents who are introverted, and, there's just enough activity to make them feel engaged. But if they would want to curl up, in their apartments and not be bothered, they can do that too. But not everyone here has a sense of community, to my surprise. When I meet with residents one-on-one, one of the things I ask, are you connected? And surprisingly, more often than I'd like to admit, I hear no. And so, I've been thinking a lot about our needs and these residents who are not quite plugged in. We all know, we've been hearing Deanna say, we need more leaders to lead our various resident committees. We need people engaged, and you don't just come out of the gate as a leader. Sometimes you participate a little bit and get a little bit more responsibility, and next thing you know, you're the president for 2 years. But we know, right, and get a large happy birthday. But we know that not everybody who lives here is engaged. Some by choice, but some it's just the offering is there, but they don't have that personal invitation. And so I do want to invite you all, there's really power in the personal invitation for something simple as coffee, sitting, right outside of this room and just having a cup of coffee with someone, or inviting someone for a lunch or a dinner, or to an activity. Some people really need that. They come to things, they look, and it seems like everybody has friends and everybody's connected. And not everybody, feels they're not as outgoing, or they don't feel like they can insert themselves. But the power of that personal invitation would mean a lot. And it would also help us start to engage more people in Horizon House to, take on some of these leadership roles. We've also had some people for, a variety of reasons. They might have said the wrong thing, and then it got around to everybody that they said the wrong thing. So now they're either ostracized, or they at least feel ostracized. And so they never try again with relationships. We have people in that situation as well, where they don't open themselves up ever again. And so they really miss out on the community, and we miss out on their gifts. So I'm just asking, if there's been people who might be kind of ostracized, second chances go a long way in trying to find connections. I know for me, I'm just mindful of, we're a very diverse community. We, have people from a variety of racial, ethnic, religious, gender identity, sexual orientation, health status, and political views. We want to be diverse. We say we want to be diverse. And so sometimes it does mean, listening, to opinions that might be very different from ours. Sometimes we just have to agree, not even just to disagree, but like, let's not talk about these things. I know when I was growing up, I was always told, don't discuss religion or politics. And it didn't make any sense to me, honestly, until probably about 2016. And I'm like, oh, let's not discuss politics. So, we're getting ready to enter, yet again, another election season. So I just want us to be mindful that we are a diverse community, and that, Horizon House is for all of us. So invite someone to coffee or tea. Thank you. Actually, I'm going to listen to our wonderful president, and I have to turn it over to Karen Perret to approve the minutes.
Thank you, Erica. Well, mine is short. The minutes of the previous meeting in December have been distributed and reviewed. If there are no further corrections, the minutes stand approved. Click me forward. Karen Smith.
We're having Karen moments here. I think we were all quite, I think we were all quite pleased the way the year ended. We were able to make gifts of $20,000 to the ERF. Earlier in January, we had given $7,500 to the PIC, which stands for Partners in Caring, and the ERF is the Employees Recognition Fund, and we give $500 to the library, which expresses our gratefulness for them coming here with books every week, and we really appreciate that. Anyway, so really, people didn't spend quite as much as they were budgeted, but we don't necessarily take that away from them in the next year's budget, as some organizations do. We have been able to give every activity whatever they asked for. So I feel really good about that. And I can't say more to, I appreciate the Monday market comments, and I have to say, as treasurer, you get to really see what people are doing, because you sign the checks for all these activities. And every time I do, I walk away marveling
at all the many things that are being done here. And you know, and I know that there are days, well, I just can't go to 4 lectures today. I'm sorry, that's too many. And then have a meeting in the evening. So aren't we fortunate to have that situation? So I can't say more. Go to the Monday Market, volunteer at the Monday Market, and give to the Monday Market. So I will now turn it over to the chairman of the Monday Market, and she can give you the good news.
Thank you. Thank you, Karen. The Monday Market began the new year with a bang. Elizabeth Hoover became the new co-director and has made significant contributions to the appearance and the efficiency of the market. She has carefully structured her crew of volunteers. There are also good news about market earnings. The total deposit for the first 2 weeks of the year is $6,579.29. Sales tax is $611. 2 RA checks amounted to $1,173. And employee purchases for the last couple of days were $318. So, that's all been wonderful. While we are pleased with these numbers, we know that every week can be different. We are always appreciative of your support through donations and purchases. That said, we are needing to be even more selective than in the past, given our abundance of inventory and limited storage space. We want to continue to assist new residents as they fit their past life into a new space and to help family members make decisions about the belongings of their loved ones. This is as much the purpose of the market as making money. Thank you, Deanna, for highlighting in your remarks many of the issues facing the market. And happy birthday. And thank you to the Resident Council for its support in 2023. We anticipate the same this year. Finding a temporary site for the market remains a major goal. I know the council also sees it as a necessary step forward. Thank you. And I will now introduce Margaret Ullman.
You may not be aware, sorry. Is it on? Yes. You may not be aware that opera previews have been going on at Horizon House for at least 40 years. Apparently, a resident here asked her son-in-law to give an opera preview. Her son-in-law gave lots of opera previews around Seattle, and her son-in-law's name was Norm Hollingshead. And some of you may remember him. He was a very popular speaker because he told jokes. He would tell the story of the opera, play some of the music, and tell stories about his 5th grade students that he took to the opera and what they had to say about it. Anyway, Norm continued to give previews for 25 years, and he had huge audiences. 70 and 80 people would turn out to listen to him. Eventually, though, he retired, and it was my job to find a replacement, which was not easy. But we were lucky, and we finally found Dr. Theodore Deacon, a retired music professor, opera professor from UW. Turns out he's a terrific speaker, so we were very lucky. Today, the opera committee consists of 11 people. My co-chairman is Russ Towsley, And many of the committee members tend to stay on from year to year, obviously opera lovers. Two of them are members of the Seattle Opera Board, which is very handy if we're asking favors of the opera, of Seattle Opera. All our events are held on Saturday afternoons here in this room at 2:30. I would like to change the name of our committee. It's been called Opera Lectures from time immemorial, but that's not what we do anymore. We don't just have lectures. We do concerts, recitals, operas for school children, and we have lectures on topics other than opera. For example, recently we had a fascinating talk on the history of the piano. Dr. Deacon gives most of our lectures. He's always very well prepared with videos and recordings. And if he doesn't know enough about the opera, then we call on Seattle Opera and bring in one of their staff. And such is the case with the opera in February, The Life and Times of Malcolm X. We'll have a lecture by a member of the Seattle Opera staff for that one. Our budget for last year and this year is $3,500, which is wonderful. And we try to use all of it if possible. Last year we came close, spending $3,110. And that covered 5 previews, 3 other lectures, a concert by 2 sopranos, a piano recital, and a talk by the manager of the Seattle Opera Costume Shop, which was very entertaining. We pay $250 for most of the lectures. Seattle Opera season, of course, does not coincide with the Horizon House season. It runs from September to May. So there will be 3 more lectures this season, the Malcolm X one in February, Barbara of Seville in May, and an extra one by Dr. Deacon on American composers. We challenged him to prove that Americans could write opera. He says he can do it. And his lecture is this coming Saturday, January the 20th. So we do have an opera concert coming up in March. There is a local opera company, Puget Sound Opera Company, and they're going to come here and bring 2 singers, a pianist, and a flute player, and it sounds like a delightful program. So I hope lots of you will turn up for that. We're hoping to find some more soloists during the year, and one group I hope to bring back is called Noise, Northwest Opera in the Schools, and they put on operas for school children, which are fun for us to hear and see also. So I'm hoping that they come back. And that's it. So I'll pass you on to Anne Brandt, I think. Yes, Anne? Thank you.
Good job.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot to follow. As a happy consumer of what they have to offer, I'm delighted to hear what's coming. I want to thank the Residents' Council and all of you for this opportunity. When Ned Lang suggested that I would be invited to do this, I thought, well, everybody here knows about bridge. Everybody plays bridge, right? So what can I possibly add? But I also want to thank the 17 members of the Bridge Committee who met last Thursday to grapple with what we're going to be offering for 2024. Now, I got to tell you that while I enjoy talking about bridge, I'd much rather play it. So bear with me. But just out of curiosity, how many of you have ever played bridge? Woohoo! How many of you currently play bridge? Not nearly as many. We have our sights on you. The purpose of the Bridge Committee is to encourage and facilitate playing the game. That's it. But we're finding there are a number of ways that we're going to proceed, building on the history of the way bridge has been supported in the past. There are two forms of contract bridge most frequently played here at Horizon House. For regular contract bridge, players meet in prearranged foursomes at set times during the week and play usually 3 rounds of 4 hands. Scoring is based on total points, and the players enjoy a relaxed setting that offers casual conversation and camaraderie along with the game. The second form is duplicate bridge, and whenever I say the word duplicate bridge, eyes tend to roll, at least in some cases. These hands are pre-dealt by our computer, and our thanks again to all of you for supporting the Residents' Council, which supported our purchase of this machine. These pre-dealt hands are placed in boards for play, and I've been told that if I'm going to do this, I needed to have a prop. So hopefully I won't dump the cards on the floor. And this is what it looks like. The north, south, east, west hands are placed by the computer into these boards, so we don't have any shuffling or dealing to do when we play this game. It's all done for us. Now, after each of these pre-dealt hands are played, the players record the score and then they hand the board on. The board is passed to the next table. Scoring is based on relative performance. So each partnership plays all the hands during the game, hence the name duplicate. At the end of the game, after all the boards have been played, a handout from the computer is available for all players. This is a computer-generated record of all the hands and how each one could have been bid and played to produce the maximum score. It's an excellent tool for seeing ways to improve partnerships and play of the hand. For duplicate, however, you do need to come with a partner. It is based on the partnership to play, and it's hard to establish partnerships when we just sit down to play. So that's one constraint, but we also have a way of cajoling and working with and encouraging people to step right up and join partnerships. By the way, many of us play and enjoy both forms. Prior to the pandemic, there were classes to help us brush up on our skills and learn how to play duplicate. The Bridge Committee helped to arrange a round-robin tournament 3 times a year, sponsored an occasional Bridge Bash, keep your eyes open for that one, where players are invited to come with or without partners and join in on an afternoon of bridge, replete with refreshments at the end of the afternoon. There was also a weekly duplicate game with 5 or 6 tables playing. At this point, we are trying to gain some momentum in both forms of bridge. We've tried several different iterations of time and place for the duplicate games, and as of Thursday, our committee is pleased to announce that beginning in February, the weekly game will be held on Saturdays at 1:30 p.m., and they might conflict with Margaret's lectures on occasion, but we'll work that out, in the exercise room on level B1. We have 2 very experienced duplicate bridge players and teachers who are adept at using our bridge sorter computer. They will set up the hands, produce the hand records, which allow all players to see what the computer shows as the optimum way to bid and play the hands, and the results will be scored and posted. We are working toward establishing a set time and place for regular contract bridge, which will welcome all players with or without partners. Currently, there are 2 foursomes that play regularly on Friday afternoon at 1:30 in B1 TV room. They would welcome additional players. A round-robin tournament will be planned when there is sufficient interest and a coordinator for facilitating it. We know there is interest in resuming basic bridge lessons. Plans are under discussion for offering this opportunity for brushing up your bridge skills in a relaxed, enjoyable setting. So please stay tuned. Check the alert where all the information about bridge activities will be posted. And as a friend of ours often says, onward. And now I have the privilege of introducing Ann Kelly, wherever she is. Let's go. There's
Thank you, Anne. Each month, you, the residents, are invited to submit questions that are important to you and for which you'd like answers. And so I have today a question that was submitted a couple of months ago, actually, which is the following. What does Horizon House, or does the Horizon House have backup generators to provide alternative power in an emergency? And if so, what will they power and how long can they be used? So we submitted this question to Sean McMahon, Chief Engineer, and here is his answer. Horizon House has emergency power generators to serve life safety systems in the event of a power outage. These life safety systems include our elevators, fire alarms, sprinkler system, emergency lighting circuits, so on and so on. The associated fuel tank capacities are sized in order to provide a minimum of 24 hours of run time. And this answer was also approved by Brian Holtz. So we had two answers coming for this question. And if you would like to submit a question of your own, Ronnie Budge, and Ronnie, would you stand up and take a bow? She will be out in the fireplace room after the meeting. So you can submit your question or questions, and we'll give you an answer next meeting. Yes?
The power does not include power in our apartments.
I'm not sure about that, Doris.
I don't think so, so I just wanted to clarify.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I will clarify that and report next meeting. Any other questions? The next speaker is Deanna.
Well, does anyone have any questions for me before we wrap up? Okay. Well, I'll never tell. No. Who cares anymore? I'm 81 today. Oh, sorry. That's right, Doris. Doris, I always have that in front of me, and that today I don't, because it's my birthday and I'm flustered. Doris will be out in the fireside lounge taking your questions or concerns about dining services. So please go and see her, because then she meets with the staff and expresses what you have to say. Okay. And anything else? We're really early. Okay. Short meeting. You're all excused.